Well, hello, everybody. I am thrilled to be with you today. This is Sarah Robbins, and this is the Rockstar Recruiting School Live. Hello. I am so excited. If you guys can hear me okay, go ahead and give me a shout. We're going to start in just a second here, but I would love to hear who's on today, where you're tuning in from, so please share it with me. Again, this is the Rockstar Recruiting School Live, and this is Sarah Robbins, and I am so excited to have you guys on today. Go ahead and tell me where you're tuning in from. Who's on today? Who's there? Okay, I see we've got Stacy McDonald coming in from Australia. I see Emily Yost who's on. I see some friends from Chicago. Hello. Guys, remember this is going to be a live session today. It's going to rock. Make sure you tag your team or share it. You can click the share button onto your team pages as well, you guys. This is going to be incredible. I'm going to be sharing with you actually a keynote talk that I just did for a few companies and for an industry event as well. And let me just tell you, it is incredible. It's really 10 years of compiled learning about what it really takes to lead with excellence in the profession and, of course, create a legacy too, because isn't that why we're all here? Isn't that why we're all doing this today? This is going to be a session that you don't want your team to miss. Again, it's Sarah Robbins, author of the best-selling book, Rockstar Recruiting, Rock Your Network Marketing Business, and creator of the CD series, the Rockstar Recruiting School. All right, guys, so as we get started today, now that we're getting acquainted here, who am I? Well, I am a wife to my handsome husband, Phil. We have been married for 13 years. And thanks to the network marketing profession, we both have the privilege of being full-time, hands-on mom and dad to this sweet little boy. This is Gabriel David, our 20-month-old son. And through our profession, we get to model to him love, leadership, and legacy in action. It is truly a blessing. I am a team leader of over 300,000 people on my team. Our group did over $1 billion, billion with a B, $1 billion in sales last year. And it truly has been a privilege, changing lives in a magnificent way with our incredible team. This is a picture of an event that we did together called the Elite Retreat at my home. We do this for our top leaders. It includes some great training. We've got a Sunday morning sunrise service. We've got scavenger hunts. And of course, what retreat would be complete without an incredible dance party? It's what we do. We have a lot of fun while we're doing it. And you know, after we hit these major milestones, I'm celebrating 10 years in the business this year, doing $1 billion in sales, hitting the top ranks in leadership year after year, actually month after month myself. You know, you start to ask yourself, you're doing so much good, but really we make more than enough to live off of, more than enough to give off of. So really, what is our why? You hear the saying that your why grows with time. And that is so true. Your why does grow with time. And we're really at this place where we're asking ourselves, what is it? You know, what would motivate us to build an even bigger business? Because of course, who wants to be retired in their 30s? Maybe you, I don't know, but not me. I just feel like we have so much more life to live and so much more that we can give. And so really, we have decided that our why is really connected to our legacy. It's empowering other leaders to do what we do, because that's what leadership is about, isn't it? It's not about, you know, what more you can do for you. It's what you can do for others. It's taking them to the places that they've been longing to go. But also through creating an even more successful team as a byproduct, you know, of empowering leaders, we realize that there's many more lives that we can change all across the globe. And you may or may not follow my story, but my husband, Phil, and I, we open up orphanages overseas. We've just decided as of today, we put into the works to open up a safe house for victims of sex trafficking in Nepal. And it's been incredible to really be able to support children's education and nutrition programs overseas, and of course here in the US as well. And that's the beauty of this business. And that is the power of really leading with legacy in mind. So today I want to share with you just some of my thoughts on how to lead with excellence within our profession, and of course, how to create your legacy as well. Now, this is going to be one that you will definitely want your teams to plug into. So I want to encourage you, click the share button and share this onto your team pages right now because they can live stream with you. And of course, you can tag your team below as well. Now, you may be thinking, well, I don't have a team yet, or I only have a team of one, or, we haven't done $1 billion in sales. And really, it is about me getting to that next rank right now. That's really where I'm at. Here's the thing, guys. Legacy isn't something you leave when you're gone. It's something that you create today. It is your living legacy. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. How do you create that right now? How do you walk that out right now? Whether you have a team of 1 or 100,001, because remember, what you do duplicates. What you do duplicates. So you want to make sure that these are qualities and best practices that are really resonating and duplicating on your team as well. Who's ready to hear them? You guys excited? Give me some hearts. All right, so here's the 3 areas we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be focusing on legacy within your business and leadership within your business, so how to do it with excellence. We're going to be talking about leading with legacy in mind as it relates to where you're at in our profession. And then, of course, we're also going to be talking about leadership within your home, which is the most important thing. All right, so let's first plug into what kind of leader you are to your team. Now, first and foremost, I want to give you a huge disclaimer. I do not have this all figured out. I am far from perfect. As leaders, we never stop learning, and I believe we are growing and learning more and more every day. It's an incredible privilege that we're given that opportunity, right? So these are actually questions that as I'm asking you, I'm going to be kind of giving you a common catchphrase and then a little reflection question. Attached, I want to tell you, I'm not preaching at you. I am talking to myself here as I'm talking to you. These are questions that I am asking myself right now at this stage in the game too. Okay, so we're all on equal playing field. All right, so the first common catchphrase that you hear in the profession is the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. The speed of the leader is the speed of the team. And you know what? I believe that to be the case. There's seasons in my business where, I ran really fast, AKA prior to children, right? And it was amazing because I saw my team with guns a-blazing, right? They were going fast with me. And then the beauty of this business is you really build a professional life that fits around the rest of your life. There was seasons in my life where I had to slow down too, such as, the birth of my firstborn son. It's interesting because I see within teams in our organization, when the leaders go fast, the teams go fast. When the leaders disengage, the teams kind of disengage. And that's why I believe in leading by example for my team. The thing that I can say that I have done well is I have been a top recruiter in my company every single year since I started for the past 10 years. If there's a bonus program going on, you guys, I go for it, okay? Even if it's something small, like we could be giving away a purple pencil, and we don't really give away purple pencils, but our company could be giving away a purple pencil, and guess what? I would go for that purple pencil. And you wanna know why? It's not because I can't afford that thing. It's because I can't afford not to lead by example for my team. You see, there's nothing that I coach that I'm not willing to do myself. So every program that goes out there, I go for, and I set the pace for my team. You see, when we slow down, I see a few things start to happen. Number one, of course, the team slows down. But number two, the leader starts to become irrelevant. And then sometimes resentment sets in. You know what I'm talking about. It's when you're working super hard and then you start to say, well, wait a minute. My leader isn't supporting me. They're not recognizing me. I feel like I'm doing all the work. They've not promoted to leadership themselves. I'm outranking them. And whether you like it or not, it's human nature that starts to happen. It would be like if you worked for a lazy boss and you were accomplishing more things personally than they were professionally, right? So I want you to ask yourself this question. Are you leading by example for your team? Are you leading by example for your team? And only you can answer that question. These are reflection questions where I want to challenge all of us to really grow during the season. I mean, right? The kids are back in school, guys, now. It's time to get back to business. This is a new season. So we're going to leave our doubts, our disappointments at the door, and we're going to start fresh. But these are the reflection questions we have to ask ourselves, and our teams need to ask themselves as well. So make sure you're sharing this on your team pages too. Okay, next point that we want to consider is the fact that the customer is always right. The customer is always right. Give me thumbs up or give me hearts if you've heard people say this before. The customer is always right. Have you heard that? Okay, so here's the thing. We rely on our corporate office for a number of things. A, we rely on them to deliver safe, efficacious products and to get to our customers on time. And for ourselves, we rely on them to make sure that they get us our checks and we're paid correctly and on time, right? Type in the comments yes if you know that to be true. Is that your expectation? Minimal expectation. Type in yes. Okay, I want to make sure you guys can hear me, so type in yes. Okay, so we also expect a certain level of customer service too. But here's the thing I want to challenge you with on this point. Isn't it also your job as the CEO of your own company, your own pseudo franchise? You're an entrepreneur to provide a certain level of customer service too. Because guess what? Your customer, your new business partner, sometimes the only connection they have to the company is through you. So you're a reflection of the company. But it's typical for us to say, okay, well, you know, I can see where I'm responsible for providing customer service to customers, but aren't your new consultants or your new distributors deserving of that too? Absolutely. I love what my friend Art Jonek says. He says, you build a team on those who stay, but you build a reputation on those who go. Type in amen if that's a good comment. Guys, that is so good. I better see a ton of amens. You build a team on those who stay. You build a reputation on those who go. So in other words, what would people say about their experience with you? You know, we have a business where, you know, attrition is, you know, kind of part of the game. Same with, you know, any other business. People come for certain reasons, maybe it's not the right season, and then they go. Now, knowing this, you know, like let's say if, you know, somebody left you and they joined another company, what would they say about you? Would they say, you know what, I had a great experience, but it wasn't the right season for me, but, you know, my leader was amazing, the team, they just loved me well, they led well, and so, you know, I have nothing bad to say, just wasn't right for me? Or would they say, oh my gosh, like, you know, this was just absolutely terrible. Nobody even, you know, connected with me, right? What would they say about you? What would they say to their friend who was thinking about joining you? That's why I believe it's so critical that we look at in this new season, the systems in place that we have to get other people off to a great start. If you missed my blog last week at sarahrobbins.com, go to the blog and it's all on leadership. And I talked to you about my systems that I use to get people off to a great start. Ultimately, you know, guys, we're not responsible for people's success or failure. It's not fair to say, well, they were successful because I was successful. But we can't say like, well, they failed because I was a failure. But we are responsible to get people off to a fast start. I'm going to say that again. We're not responsible for people's success or failure, but we're responsible to get people off to a great start. If you agree with that, type in agree below. Okay? So that means what you do within the first 72 hours is critical. Do you do an enrollment appointment with them? Do you, you know, do their first training appointment within their first 3 days? Do you give them a challenge to write down 200 names and then you start focusing on, you know, reaching out to 5 people at a time, brainstorming, who are they today? How can I help you reach out to them? Let's talk about language, etc. Do you do 3 launch events with them? At least 2 being live, 1 being virtual for people that are out of state? Do you teach them to post regularly on Facebook? I mean, these are the 3 basic things, aside from, of course, setting their why and then setting a goal for the first month. But guys, what would they say about their experience with you? Customer service is something you create. You create it through culture. You create it through systems. And then what happens after, you know, that first training appointment? Do you stay plugged into them during those first 30 days, working their list 5 at a time, doing their launch events, reaching down? Do you have trainings and things for them to plug into with you or with your team? The customer is always right. The question is for you is, what kind of experience are you creating for your team? What kind of customer experience, what kind of culture, what kind of systems do you have in place for your team? Again, if you have nothing in place now, don't beat yourself up. This is a fresh season. We're going to start anew. We're going to all start on the same page, right? If you're committed to this, I want you to say, I'm committed to excellence. I'm committed to leadership in 2017. Post it below. I want to see your guys' commitment. All right. The next thing is leaders never stop learning. Leaders never stop learning. So that's why you're here on this today. And that's why we all have the opportunity to grow in this area together. Leaders never stop learning. You know, some of you know my story. It took me 3 months to recruit my first consultant. So, you know, if it's taken you a while, don't get discouraged. I'm the top earner in my company. It took me 3 months to recruit my first consultant. I used to be the least highest earner. I think I quit more than anybody else. I didn't actually quit, but I threatened to quit. So, you know, I remember one time, this was a life-changing moment. I share this story, by the way. If you have my book, Rock Your Network Marketing Business, comment below and tell me how the book is changing your business. But I share this story in my book, Rock Your Network Marketing Business. It's a bestseller on Amazon. I share my come to the parking lot moment where, you know, I had one of the leaders on my mom's team reach out to me and say, you know, Sarah, I want to share with you what your problem is. And I'm like, well, great. Finally, somebody's going to tell me what's wrong. And she was like, you know, the problem is your words aren't aligning with your actions. It's like you're walking the walk, but you're not talking the talk. You're coming to all the meetings and events, but you're speaking death and defeat over your team and over yourself. You can't expect to be successful if all of this negativity is coming out. You see, I believe rejection is God's protection. Rejection is God's protection. The reason why I didn't have a booming, massive team in the beginning was because I wasn't ready to lead them. It was like God was saving them from me, you know, my negativity, and he was saving me from myself, the embarrassment. You know, if you're faithful on the platform he's given you, then he can only increase and multiply it from there. So I started investing in a lot of personal development. And I started to learn about the power of my words. And you know what? I believe that your words have creative power. When God said, let there be light, what was there? Type it in the comments below. What was there? There was light. I believe our words carry forth a substance. And instead of speaking death and defeat, I started to speak life. Instead of saying, oh, nobody's joining me. Oh, everybody's quitting. Oh, I quit. I started to say, we've got the fastest growing team. And I started to speak truth and life and light. And it was amazing. That's what went on to happen today. We will never stop learning as leaders. There's always going to be ways that we are pouring into personal and professional growth. Are you taking the time to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually? I believe if you put those priorities in place, you can be fulfilled in all of those areas. My question is for you, will your organization outgrow your ability to lead it? Will your organization outgrow your ability to lead it? All right, now that we've talked about the type of leader that you are to your team, let's talk about how you're known for within the profession. Because let's face it, everybody knows somebody who's in direct sales, party plan, network marketing, etc. And together, you guys, we really do create a reputation amongst our group overall. So we're all really contributing to this. So whether or not you think this is important, I want you to stay tuned in because it's actually really, really, really important. So let's talk a little bit about this topic today before we get to the third. You hear people say there's plenty of fish in the sea, but isn't it a small world after all? Okay, so we hear people say there's plenty of fish in the sea. We hear people say that, you know, there's billions of people on the planet. There's billions of people on Facebook. You know, when we do our contact list, we need to reach out to 200 names because the average funeral has 200 people at it. So when it comes to dating, when it comes to network marketing, there's plenty of fish in the sea. So then if this is true, why do we circle the wagons and shoot one another? Why do we circle the wagons and shoot one another? Okay, so let me explain what I mean. The other day I was on a leadership board and I saw this post, you know, that was put up there, and it was basically a leader from another network marketing company who used to be in corporate, is now a leader in the field, starts this video saying something like, okay, this is a highly confidential video. Do not share it with anybody. This is for internal consumption only, ... Here's the thing, guys. We live in a highly competitive, highly regulated environment. You need to assume that every video you do, every talk you have, whether it's on a stage or on the phone, anything put in writing can be seen by the FDA, the FTC, and your competitors. And in this case, it was her competitors. Not that we're competing, but meaning we're in another company. And basically the video went on to talk about how terrible our products were, which they're not. We actually have the #1 company within our category, across all pricing points, across all categories. But anyways, all the reasons why she thought they were terrible. And basically it was a training that taught them how to recruit people out of our company, our consultants, our customers, out of our company and into theirs. And, you know, here's the thing. This is being seen by top leaders corporately who have been with other network marketing companies, will likely go on to be with other network marketing companies, and other top leaders in our field who are highly connected within our profession. And I just thought, yuck, I would never do that. I don't have a reason to talk down about anybody's products. I'm just going to talk really well about ours. That's what creates the differentiator. It's the good things that our company is doing. I don't have to circle the wagons and shoot anybody else. There's plenty of fish in the sea. But guys, isn't it a small world after all? Do the right things at the right time for all of the right reasons. And I promise you this, you will have greater opportunity, even outside of your company, to grow professionally, to make connections personally, if you're known truly of being a person of abundance who wants to see other people grow as well. A rising tide lifts all ships. Let's lift one another up and be happy for that friend who sells jewelry or sells the nail stuff or sells the hair stuff or sells the skincare stuff or whatever. Let's support them. Let's, try their products from them. Let's, say good things about them, because what you give is what you get. It's the law of reciprocity, but it always comes back tenfold, good or bad. Isn't it a small world after all? Okay. Along those lines, I wanted to share with you the grass isn't greener. The grass isn't greener. Okay, guys. So here's the thing. I don't know how long you've been in this for business or been in your business, but have you ever been recruited, tried to have been recruited into something else? Don't tell me what company, just say yes or no. Has that ever happened to you? Has anybody, tried to recruit you into their company? Yes or no? Don't say what company, okay? We're not going to mention any company names anywhere in the comments throughout this entire training because it's a generic training page. All companies are welcome to plug in. Well, we recently had this happen to us where, and it's okay because it just happens. It's the nature of the game. But basically, companies will come in and they'll kind of, we're attracted to the flash and the cash sometimes, right? Bright, shiny object syndrome. Everybody wants to be first. Everybody wants to be #1. Everybody wants to do it fast. Well, what companies will do, especially a lot of the front-loading companies, they'll say, they'll try to make an example of somebody. Oh, somebody earned in 3 months what they didn't do in 30 years in that other company. But what they don't tell you is it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Those companies don't typically last, or that success doesn't last for the long term. When I chose my company, I chose it for a reason. I chose a legacy company that I would only have to build one company during my lifetime, one time, and I could will it to my family and have it leave legacy for them as well. I don't want to build 10 companies 10 times over and be working when I'm 90 years old. That's corporate America. I got out of that to, truly have true time and financial freedom. So, I want to share with you this. I shared this with my team. Just a few examples where, times where this happened to me. These are really good stories, guys. So I want you to tune in. And if you're enjoying this, make sure you click the share button and share this on your team pages because they can actually watch this live. But I remember in the beginning of my business getting invited to dinner with a friend. And basically we were in Detroit and I thought it was a friendly dinner, but later I found out there was a motive. Basically, this friend went on to tell me about his network marketing business, all of the reasons why I should join him, but why I would fail in my company. And I remember feeling so grossed out by the conversation. Phil and I just got in the car and we prayed. Phil was like, the Lord does not leave us with confusion. He leads us with peace. This is not from God. And we prayed. The company that he was in, well, I'm not going to tell you the name, but it was later investigated by the FTC. It wasn't even a legitimate network marketing company. It was found to have characteristics of a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme. And again, it doesn't matter, you know, what the company is, but if you know what company I'm talking about, don't post it. You can find out that basically the company was shut down. Doesn't matter all those things that happened to that company. What matters is what happened to my team. $1 billion in sales with our group in our company last year. You know, my mom's friend, she's an incredible leader and I just love her personally, but professionally, total rock star. Joined at the same time as us in the beginning of her business, had one of the largest teams. I believe she'd have one of the largest teams in our company still today, but she was given an opportunity to join another company and be first. And again, that feels really good. And I'm not faulting her. We all would feel good, right? That company actually ended up shutting down and she's had to engage with several other companies since. So guys, we cannot be fooled by hype. You know, when you chose your company, you chose it for a reason. These are the things I hope you looked for within your company. Integrity behind the people who run it, you know, corporately and your founders, quality of the products, history, you know, history of your leadership, and really products that are going to stand the test of time, that they're not going to be a fad and gone tomorrow. At the end of the day, you guys, if your business isn't working for you, my question for you is, are you working your business? If the business isn't working for you, are you working your business? If there's somebody in your company who's been successful, success leaves clues. Take full responsibility for your success. Don't blame a company. Don't blame your leader. Don't say, well, they had this or I didn't have this or whatever. Instead, say, what can I do this season? It's a fresh new year because it's a fresh new school year. What can I do to make my business successful? You and everyone else in your company have the same products, pay plan, and opportunity to plug in, to get training. So don't make excuses. Get better. Here's the top 5 things that I've learned over my 10 years on this topic. The grass isn't greener. Network marketing, number 1. Timing and branding in a company doesn't guarantee you a check. Your productivity does. You can be first and do nothing. You're not going to make any money. You got to work hard. So number 2, you've got to work your business every day. Hard work. Personal activity is a cure to what ails you in your business. You can be successful if you make a few new conversations every day, a few new invitations every day for people to hear more about your product and business, and you give it the time that it takes to be successful. And I believe this is true in any credible company. So number 3, give it the time. A minimum of 3 to 5 years. You'd go to school that long to become, a teacher or a doctor, or, definitely more than that, actually. It takes time to develop your talent, but where else could you compress a 30 to 50-year career into 3 to 5 years and leave legacy for your family? Number 4, the grass is never greener in another company. The grass is green where you water it. You're going to do 2 things in network marketing, any company: promote a product and promote the business or an opportunity. So you're going to work hard. It's called network marketing, not net lazy marketing. That's a good one, isn't it? Give me a good old LOL. Tell me you're laughing with me at that one. Okay. Number 5. So pick one company with a product you're passionate about and stick with it. And guys, be happy for the people who chose their company for a reason. Leave them alone. But pick one and stick with it. Guys, I don't know of one top earner in our profession who does multiple companies. You lose credibility. And I certainly don't know of one top leader in my company who does more than one business. You can't serve 2 masters. You think building one business is hard? Try building 2. Yikes. I've had people try to recruit me into other things, noting timing in their company and positioning. And it was a ground floor opportunity. It's a bunch of hype. But here's the thing. I know because I was one of the first, me and my mom in my company. There was plenty of people who started at the same time as us, and they weren't willing to do the work. Your willing to has to be greater than your wanting to. Your willing to has to be greater than your wanting to. They weren't willing to do the work. They didn't have the long-term vision. They quit. I stayed in. My mom stayed in. We're both 7-figure earners today. Timing doesn't guarantee you a check. Your productivity does. So hear this. This is a $1 billion moment here for you guys. You ready? You don't need a new opportunity. You need a new commitment to your opportunity. We don't need a new opportunity. We need a new commitment to our opportunity. Do you guys agree with me? If so, I want you to type in a big amen. Let me know you're out there, you're listening, you hear this, and you're resonating with this. Who's resonating with this? Okay. All right. So let's keep going here. As it relates to leadership within the profession, here's another thing that I've learned. Your best yes may be a no. Your best yes may be a no. So what do I mean by that? Guys, when we look at managing our time, and we look at our lives in general, we only have so many hours in a day. When you say yes to something, it means you have to say no to something else. But when you say no to something, it means you get to say yes to something else. You know, and well, I'll share with you my thought on that in just a moment. But you know, when I started, I'm going to be really honest and raw. Is it okay with you guys for me to just be super real with you for a moment here? When I started my business, I was in my 20s. I was a kindergarten teacher, of course, didn't get a lot of recognition or accolades. So it felt really good when we were building this fast success and this incredible story that people would reach out to me all the time and say, would you be featured in my blog? Would you be in my magazine? Would you be in my book? And would you be on my podcast? And would you be on my radio show? And this and that and the other. And I said yes to everything. Okay. And, you know, some of the things were good, maybe some not so good. But I said yes to everything. Felt nice to be wanted, right? And I thought I could bring some value. But I remember there was one month, it was a month of October, not recently, but years ago, where I was gone all but 3 days. And I ended up getting stressed out and burnt out. And that's not why I started the business in the first place. It's supposed to be fun and enjoyable. But then it was interesting. I started to ask myself, you know, what is my purpose? You know, am I really doing this to serve, or am I doing it to satisfy my ego? Am I doing this to serve or to satisfy my ego? But then I started to think, what is the purpose for the promoter of this thing? The event, the call, whatever. Is it to serve, or are they trying to get at my influence, my list? Because they would ask me questions like, well, who can you email this out to? Have you promoted it to people? And, you know, if I didn't promote it in the way they wanted to, then all of a sudden they dropped me like a bad habit. Never heard from them again. And that's not in all cases, but it is in some cases. Another thing that happened was, you know, sometimes I would lend my credibility. And guys, once you give your credibility, when you promote something to your team, it's like an endorsement. You're saying, I endorse this person. I endorse what they're about. I endorse their training. And what if they start marketing your team something else in one of those videos that you've endorsed? You know, they go on to start another network marketing company, and you've built a following for them with your team. Once you lend your credibility and your influence, you can't get it back. If you guys have followed me, you have followed me for 10 years and you've been on my email list, and you know, I don't market you one thing. I give you free generic training week after week after week, and I don't ever on this page in my email list, nothing talk about anything but value. Because I believe literally that my gift from God is a God-given gift, and a gift is not a gift until you give it away. But you know, there's opportunities and there's times to serve. And the thing that you really have to ask yourself is this the right season to serve? And is it all for the right reasons? Meaning the intention of the person who's asking. And sometimes that is true. They do have pure intentions and motives. But are your motives and intentions pure as well? Because here's the thing, you know, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this and who am I doing this for? Is it really to serve other people? Or are you doing it to satisfy your ego? Will you satisfy your ego in exchange for the satisfaction of your family, right? Because it means it's time away from them if you're doing all these things. Or will you satisfy your ego for the security of your team? Again, what types of information are you putting in front of them now? But what could it mean to them long-term as well? I love people who ask me to speak for things. They don't even ask me to promote it. They're just like, we just want you to be a blessing to the people that we're bringing to this event. Just come and speak and pour into these people. What is your intention and what is theirs? Okay. Now, the most important topic that we're going to focus in on is, how do you lead those you love? How do you lead those you love? I want you to tune in because this one's going to change your life. Are you ready for your lives to change, guys? Tell me who's out there. Show me you're ready. Give me some hearts. Give me some comments. Say, I am ready. All right. So let's talk about how you lead those you love, the people in your lives that matter most. You hear the saying, what other people think of you is none of your business. That is a flat out lie. because what other people think of you is absolutely your business, especially the people that you love. Especially the people that you love. A lot of times when people start this business, I ask them a question. I'll say, why are you doing this? And people will say, oh, it's to retire my spouse from a job they don't love so they have more time with our family. Or, oh, it's to retire myself from a job I don't love so I have more time with my family. It's typically all connected to people they love. Yet time after time, I see people sacrificing their why in pursuit of it. I once heard this woman train, and she was training her team on basically the sacrifices they're going to have to make when they build their business. Now, hear me out. I don't believe in using the word sacrifice. I believe in using the word exchange, because sometimes we do have to make exchanges. We have to exchange, drive time sometime, downtime, like talking time, gossip time on the phone, reality TV time. We might have to give that up for a season of life. We have to make our car rolling university instead of, listening to our favorite music. Maybe we're listening to some training material, or we're doing three-way calls. We're going to make exchanges. But her talk was all about sacrifice. She would say things like, you know what? You might have to sacrifice all the baseball games. You might have to sacrifice the dance recitals. You might have to sacrifice all of this time with your children, but don't worry. It's to give them a better life overall. And when they're 18 years old, you can bring them on all of these cool experiences and say, it was worth it. I'm sorry. It's not worth it if my child doesn't know who I am. I only get the baby stage once. I only get the toddler phase once. I only get the elementary and middle school age and teenage years, thank God, once. If I'm looking at my son at the age of 18 and I'm like, hooray, let's go to Thailand. And he's like, Mom, I didn't even know you. Who does that really serve? If I'm away from my spouse all the time and not emotionally connected to him, who did I really do that for? I sacrificed my why in pursuit of it. I sacrificed my why in pursuit of it. Now, here's the thing. Nobody can control your busy schedule but you. You have to manage your time well. Look for places that you can make exchanges of time, things that don't matter. You can say no to those things so you can say yes to better choices. Set your hours of operation, make use of drive time. And for my, where I'm at in my life, nap time or bedtime. Outsource where you can. My sister's on here. When she first started business, she hired somebody to clean her house so she had a few hours to work her business around her newborn schedule, okay? Instead of spending it, she reinvested it. But don't sacrifice your why in pursuit of it. Put your faith first. Put your family first. Your friends next. And all of the things in your field, business, ministry, etc. Guys, I believe if you have the right priorities in place, you can have a fulfilling life and success in all of those areas. But the thing I don't want any one of us ever to do is to sacrifice our why in pursuit of it. Time is the currency of relationships. How do people know that they matter to you? It's the time you spend with them. Now, here's my thing. Why am I telling you this and that I'm telling you how to build a big business, guys? Building a massive business will give you more time and financial freedom than you ever even thought you desired, much less deserved. I spend every single moment with my family. It's incredible. My husband and my son, it's amazing. And we're going to be, doing incredible things together and leaving legacy. I did exchange certain things for a short period of time, but I didn't sacrifice those relationships in the process. Remember this, you can do anything for a short period of time to produce the long-term freedom that you desire and your family deserves. But don't sacrifice your why in pursuit of it. And remember this, guys, always. What you do duplicates. What you do duplicates. In business and in life, when we raise up our children, you hear about the iniquities of the father, the generational, things that we pass down to them. But how we lead also duplicates on our team. My question for you, I know this is a heavy one, guys. Is the master copy worth replicating? What is your legacy? I've been doing a lot of work with John Maxwell lately, and he said the first 3 letters in the word legacy is leg. Leg. Who's going to walk the walk and talk the talk when you're gone? Who are you raising up in your business? Who are you raising up in your home, How will people talk about your walk? Remember, legacy isn't something that, we leave when we leave this planet. Our living legacy is something that we are literally writing today. Don't you guys love that John Maxwell quote? Comment below. This is good. Isn't that good? Guys, I want you to always remember this. You hear me say this often. Blessings are tied to your obedience. Your blessings are tied to your obedience. Other people's blessings are tied to your obedience. And what do I mean by obedience? It's the choices that you make every day to say yes to your business. When you say no to your business, you're saying no to your team, your future team, your family, and the power of your dream. Blessings are tied to your legacy. Through building a successful business, not quitting, leading by example, creating excellent customer service, getting people off to a great start, putting systems in place with our team, creating an environment, a collaborative culture for people to grow, loving well, leading well, living with a generous spirit. Guys, I'm actually excited, like when I pay my taxes and I'm excited to tithe to my church. Like, I just feel so blessed to be a blessing. Through doing these things, we're able to create a tremendous legacy. As I mentioned, we opened up an orphanage in India for 117 girls. So Gabriel has 117 boys. Gabriel has 117 brothers, 47 girls. And by the way, that is expanding because we just ordered some new beds to bring in some more girls. As of today, we just verbally gave our commitment to open up a safe home in Nepal to save young girls from sex trafficking. We fund children's education and nutrition programs here in the US and abroad. And here's the beauty. We don't just give, we go. We go to visit and pour into people. And what an amazing legacy it will be for Gabriel to go with us, of course, when he's old enough. And he will get to see love, leadership, and legacy in action. Guys, don't walk out on your why. Whatever you do, don't quit. Because I want to tell you this, there is nothing like seeing your reason why, your legacy in action. And that's my wish for all of you. Guys, I know this was a big one, and I typically do my 5-minute videos, and you get to see my cute little, hairdo of the day, and I hold up my book and all that good stuff. But I believe that the Lord has given me this platform for a reason to touch and change many lives. And this is something, legacy that He's put heavy on my heart. And I truly hope that it is something that will change your life, or at least getting you thinking about changing your life today. I love you guys so much, and I just wish you God's greatest blessings. Psalm 91 over you, protection over you, the blessings of Deuteronomy 28 over you and your business. May all you do continue to multiply. And remember, it does, good or bad. If you want more great training on the how-tos and really creating success systems, etc., I teach you what to do in the first 72 hours, the first 30 days, and systems long-term. If you're brand new and you're like, I don't even know how to recruit people, I teach you my top 10 ways for recruiting. You can buy my best-selling book, Rock Your Network Marketing Business, on Amazon. You can also get my CD series on my site at sarahrobbins.com. Make sure, you guys, your team needs to hear this. Make sure you share this on your team pages or tag them below. But I hope this blessed you guys today. If it did, let me know. Share with me your takeaways. Shout out below. Have a great day. God bless. And goodbye for now. Rock on, rock stars.